Yes, ma'am, we have a quorum.
Take it away, Ellen, and then give it back to me.
All right. Well, good morning. I'm going to call the meeting to order. And this is a very special meeting today because this is acknowledging and recognizing individuals who have given so much. So I am the chair of Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas, and let me welcome everyone to our October board meeting of the Board of Directors. Thank you for joining today for the Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas 2020 award ceremony. Congratulations and welcome to our awardees, board directors, and honored guests. 2020 is all virtual, and this includes our Safe and Secure 2020 annual award ceremony. So many of our customers and neighbors are struggling this year. There's illness, loss, injustice, increased poverty, and higher unemployment. Let us dedicate these awards to all the heroes in Dallas County who rise to the challenges of 2020. Here's to a better year ahead. Workforce and education remain the central issues of 2021, and we will continue to meet the challenges going forward. Thank you for joining us. So I'd like to introduce our president to begin the ceremony. Lori, take it away.
Thank you, Ellen. Thank you so much and welcome everyone. It's a good morning to say thank you and to show appreciation for some very good people who have done some very good work. I may go off camera, and I encourage you, if you'd like to go off camera during this, we're going to have a lot of photo presentations coming from James Edward, our traditional photographer, has joined us this morning. Thank you, James. We appreciate your help. We are hosted by Mario Castaneda, who is our Dallas Regional Chamber shared employee, a man of many, many talents, including all his good data reports. So with that, you want to go off camera, and James, if you want to bring up the beginning. Thank you. This morning, we'd like to present a couple of very special awards to some very special people, our leaders. We're going to take a walk down memory lane with our chief elected official, Judge Clay Jenkins, and his 10 years in office. He has been serving the Dallas community for nearly 10 years at this point, but it has been a large load for 10 years, and we're going to talk about a little bit of that. Are the pictures up? I'm not seeing them.
I'm trying to hit my share screen, and there we go. Sorry about that. Technical difficulties.
Understood. Thank you. Thank you. This is Judge Jenkins 10 years ago. And this is Judge Jenkins doing what he does. He is the king of hiring events with passion to greet and meet and match employers and job seekers. Everything from Gillies and our veterans hiring red, white, and you, to DISD schools, helping parents and students navigate their way to a hiring event. The man is always on, and the cup is in his hand, including this very memorable Some Like It Hot at the farmer's market in June. Thank you, Judge Jenkins. This was a tough one, but he knew where people would be and he knew where the jobs were, and he encouraged us to hold these events. He has pushed us farther and faster than any elected official. The most memorable is caught right here with Sweet Lauren in the background. This was the Hire Fest at the Sheraton. We watched him stand strong for the volume of job seekers we could never have expected. We broke all records with thousands of workers, and those people got jobs. It was a marvelous event, but it was very trying. I don't know that we're ever welcome back at the Sheraton. Move ahead. Thank you. This was part of the crowd. The crowd looped all the way from the ballroom back across the Sky Bridge into the Sheraton. It was fabulous. It was fabulous. He's been with us to open offices at the new workforce office in Pleasant Grove. And he has been with us for every opening. I'm sorry we haven't been able to have the two with Redbird and with Greenville. He speaks truth to power. It was an important session on a lovely Saturday morning at the Opportunity Center with our guest, Congresswoman Johnson, and Speaker of the House, Nancy Pelosi. And he speaks policy to governments. And he's had his chance to talk to several of our governors about what we are doing in Dallas and what needs to be done. He has been a force for inspiration and encouragement in workforce. Let's not forget what we have witnessed from this one elected official. From West Nile to Ebola to COVID-19, no other local government official in the United States has been where he has walked. Not to mention the countless tornadoes, hurricane shelter efforts, and other national disasters in a very short period of time, only 1 decade. And this man has stepped through every door. Our teams in the offices and the staff know this man is Judge, and is someone who walks with the sleeves up, ready to lend a hand. People know him. All of our teams know him. The photographer knows him, and we wait for him. It's my honor this morning to present the COVID-19 Leadership Award to our Chief Elected Official, the Honorable Clay Jenkins, County Judge of Dallas County. James, if you'd roll tape, and then we'll hear from the judge. No sound. Okay, well, that didn't work. James, go ahead and stop it, and we'll just let the judge visit with us this morning.
Hey, everyone. Well, I'm very humbled by that. Sincerely, I appreciate that from y'all, because y'all do such great work. Did I lose you? It looks like I lost my picture there.
Come back on camera. Yes, sir. I think you might have just hit the button.
Okay. Sorry about that. Oh, sorry about that. Well, thank you so much. I know this has been a very tough year for so many people. And I know it's been hard to work without being able to see one another. But y'all have really stepped up. We've had a ton of people who've lost their jobs or been laid off, and it's been a very difficult year from them. I was looking at the stat and the effects that is having on our people emotionally. It's taking a toll. And unfortunately, what we're seeing right now is the beginning of another big upswing in cases. And so we'll need your leadership in helping people through that. But you've risen to the challenge thus far, and I'm confident you'll rise to the challenge again. And it is my honor to work with y'all during this extraordinarily unusual year. And I think this is the time that make leaders like you shine. So I want to thank all of you for the award, but mostly I want to thank you for your leadership.
We thank you. And you'll see in chat, people are saying, thank you so much for what you do. We know how hard you work, sir. Thank you for joining us this morning for this.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And it is my other honor to present an outgoing award. And this one's bittersweet because we don't do this award except when a chief elected official or a board officer leaves the board or the seat they're in. So this morning, we will honor our outgoing chair. Ellen Torbert has been our chair for 4 years, and we're going to talk a little bit about her journey as chair. This is Ellen when she started. She came to us and quickly was drafted into the treasurer's job. I have to chuckle because this is back at the Dart building when we first started with her. As you know, between the photographer and myself, we have a lot of pictures of people, especially our favorite people. Ellen went with us initially, quickly, to the national conference, and she impressed the national members. She had just enough time in that job as treasurer to realize the future in office would move quickly. Here she is with a team that only lasted about 8 months, actually. Pagala, Kathy Frazier, and Ellen were the officers, chair, vice chair, and treasurer Within that same year, Kathy was drafted by Mayo Clinic, left the area. Julie found a way to find her new home in St. Louis. And before she knew it, Ellen was sitting in the chair. She never faltered. She never flinched. She came with us and joined the Texas Association of Workforce Boards. She took her place among the board chairs. Again, her grace, poise, and humanity were on display. She was an immediate favorite of the state group. Within a year, she was asked to speak in a plenary. Here she is mic'd up on the national stage at the National Workforce Association rave reviews. I kid you not, rave reviews. You got to remember what Ellen does, diversity and inclusion before it was cool. She was the one leading this. Her voice and presence made Texas very proud. In the next year, Ellen was elected to a second two-year term and led the way to innovation and philanthropy in our programs. This was new. She also opened the Pleasant Grove Center with the judge and other elected officials and state personnel. During her second term, we were able to open Greenville and Redbird, and I apologize for not being able to have those openings. Did we mention that Ellen is a friend to veterans, and her family service made her the perfect speaker at our annual Hiring Red, White, and You many times. She even worked on Saturdays for us when it was necessary to make powerful connections. Here she is meeting with Congresswoman Johnson, and we appreciate the extra effort, the extra hours. Ellen has the distinction of presiding over our 35th anniversary as a nonprofit organization, and she did it with all the professionalism and grace that she carried for the 4 years in service. Yes, she was there for the awards, but I would most appreciate what Ellen gave to people. It was always about the people. For me and my team, she knew our families, our stories. She never missed the opportunity to ask about our lives. And that goes down to the contractor staff that she has met and known. We found this pic, which means a lot to me. She's been by my side throughout these 4 years, and they have been some of the most productive. We did find another picture of Ellen and her team. We captured this probably earlier in 2020. Our past chair, Gilbert Gerst, her treasurer, Terrence Richardson, and vice chair, Bill O'Dwyer, and me. And as of this, she began to plan the future and the inevitable turning out as chair and reveling in the thought of being the past chair. I think I heard Bill chuckle on that one. Later this morning, we will hold an election and move forward with all the gifts Ellen gave us during her terms. She's a great lady who is a great leader, and she has left her mark on workforce. Thank you, Ellen. It is my honor to present the Lee F. Jackson Workforce Leadership Award to our outgoing chair, Ellen Torbert.
Thank you, Lori. I just don't even have the words. I am extremely honored to receive this award. You know, I'm the person, I like to be behind the scenes and pushing others forward. And I have been very fortunate to kind of live the dreams of my life. I work for a great organization, and I've been a part of this organization that aligns so dearly to my passions. And that's my passions of helping the youth, of being an example, encouraging others to reach their full potential, ensuring that they have the tools and the resources that they need. And lo and behold, I was blessed to land with Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas that continues to feed who I am so that I can pour out and give to others. And so this is not alone that I receive this award here today. It's all of you that made it possible for me to hold this award in my hand. And I want you to know how much I appreciate each and every one of you, the sacrifices that you've made and continue to make, the love that you continue to give to others. There are certain leadership principles that I live by, and Workforce has enabled me to continue to live by these leadership characteristics and aspects, and that is to model the way, to inspire a shared vision, to challenge the processes, enable others to act, and to encourage the heart. And Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas, Lori, and all that you've done, I have learned so much over these past years that I can take and pour into others. And for me, that is the most gratifying experience that an individual can have. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be a part of this dynamic team, to be a part of this great board, staff. I love you and all that you do. And Lori, there's not another person on earth like you. Thank you for continuing to inspire me to be able to see parts of and talents that I didn't realize I had. So today I pass on to each and every one of you from my heart an utmost thank you, thank you, thank you. And I genuinely care and love each one of you. Thank you.
Richard, you're up because I'm a mess.
Okay. Well, thank you and good morning. I'm Richard Perez, and I am pleased to present the Large Employer of the Year this morning. This award recognizes the best of our employer community. Talent is hard to find and harder to keep. And I know most employers are struggling to find the right talent, and especially in today's environment. We know that a robust economy, talent supply is one of the most important investments our country and our community can make. Today, we will recognize our best efforts towards improving the Dallas County workforce and improving the competitiveness of our community. Our first award recognizes the employer customer for the workforce system. Two employers have really stepped up and are making a difference. But the first one is the large employer. COVID-19 has brought new challenges to the workplace, the population, and employers. Amazon has shown to be the go-to resource to deliver all items. Not only did they deliver much needed groceries, hand sanitizers, goods, and services, they also offered much needed jobs to the displaced workers and all the industries within Dallas-Fort Worth community. In 1 year, from 2019 to 2020, Amazon has more than doubled their Texas workforce. Beginning in 2013, Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas and neighboring boards began partnering and collaborating with Amazon to develop a customized recruitment plan to assist with filling their open positions in fulfillment centers. This plan continues today with all the distribution centers in Dallas County. Amazon also works with local schools and vocational rehabilitation to introduce students to careers and assist people with disabilities. With the assistance of the Dallas and Tarrant boards, Amazon was able to fill many of their positions. They hope to replicate this amazing workforce partnership throughout the U.S. and the state of Texas. Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas continues to work with Amazon in meeting their workforce needs with postings in Work in Texas, on-site employment assistance, virtual hiring events, and screening of applicants. Terry Lee, Amazon Workforce Recruiter, will accept the award on behalf of Amazon, but first, we're going to go ahead and roll a video.
Hi, my name is Terry Lee, and I'm with Workforce Staffing here at Amazon. Workforce Staffing is very, very rewarding for me is because we wind up actually helping a candidate from start to finish. And we take care of them, make sure that they got exactly what they need so they can be successful for their day one here at Amazon. So we do that by ensuring that they have their application filled out correctly, making sure that we process their I-9s correctly, making sure that they understand and know what they're getting into, what shifts they're going to be working, and what site they're going to be working at. Also, just want to talk about the growth with Amazon. We all know Amazon is growing, and we've been growing for a while, and it wound up being a little bit more overwhelming for the HR and the facility to hire all these people. So Amazon designed a workforce staffing department in 2013 here in Dallas. And that was to just ensure that the candidates come to one building, like a one-stop shop, to make sure that we're processing them, making sure that they have everything they need so they can be successful. So I'm very, very excited and very, very honored to receive this award. Thank you, Workforce Staffing Solutions, for this award. But my team is very, very excited about this.
Terry, you're with us today. Would you like to say a few words?
Absolutely. Like the video, like I said in my video, we are very, very, very excited. For my team is very, very excited in receiving this award because we do work hard. We work very, very hard with staffing our facilities, and like I said, Amazon is growing. I mean, and we're growing pretty rapidly. And sometimes it can be very, very difficult to staff the facilities as they're growing. And then to add the pandemic on top of that, it can be very difficult sometimes. Actually, a lot of times, so we have to actually, be very, very creative in what we're doing to get really, really good talent. And so that's why we do focus on community engagements such as universities, colleges, local volunteer organizations, local churches. We work with we have an entire military veterans program that we work with as well to just ensure that we're getting the best candidates we can. We also have information sessions through Zoom, just to let the candidates know exactly what it's like working in a facility. It can be very, very different, especially if you've never worked in a facility before. So we want to just educate a lot of the community in what we're doing, what we're looking for. And so I'm really, really glad to have this relationship with Workforce Solutions, and we're going to continue in the future great work. And Workforce Solutions, thank you for allowing Amazon to partner with you. That way we can make a difference in our community. And if you also want to apply at Amazon, go to amazon.com/apply. Trust me, we definitely need the help in our facilities with the growth. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate
Terry.
it.
Perfect.
All right, well, good morning. I'm Stephen Bridges, and it's my honor to represent the Small Employer of the Year and also this year's Employer of Excellence. Now, with COVID-19 pandemic reaching a critical point, the City of Garland, they were struggling pretty much to maintain basic city services while providing city employees with a clean, safe, sanitary environment. With the nationwide depletion of cleaning products and hand sanitizers, the City of Garland reached out to the Dallas County Manufacturers Association, also known as DCMA. Well, Carol Clean, a strong supporter of DCMA and a local Garland employer, answered that call. Carol Clean stepped up to the challenge of meeting the needs of their city and the local Dallas area by increasing their production not from one production line to 5 lines. In addition, the company went from one 8-hour shift to a 24-hour operation with 3 shifts and overtime. Now, with the help of Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas, Carol Clean created jobs and added 120 staff to their roles in order to accommodate the demand for their sanitizing products. In addition, many of Carol Clean's new hires previously had jobs that were affected by COVID-19. Carol Clean continues to work with the City of Garland to supply sanitizing products to the city's first responders, as well as other public service employees. Carol Clean also sends necessary cleaning and disinfecting products to local organizations, such as daycares, nursing homes, churches, clinics, hospitals, and many other organizations. Carol Clean will soon be entering contracts with many big box stores, allowing the company more opportunity to obtain their cleaning products and sanitizing products, which are essential to the future health of our country. I'd like to say congratulations to Peter Zier and his team. Peter Zier is the CEO of this year's Small Business of the Year and our Employer of Excellence, which is Carol Clean.
Thank you, Stephen. We appreciate the award. I'm honored to receive the award. It only happened because of the team, people putting in long hours to scale. And it was a very rapid scale in March and April as we added well over 100 people. Special thanks to Sam, who aligned with Workforce Solutions to optimize our staffing needs. And we encourage our employees. We've kept many of those employees. We remain a headcount of over 200, and we invest in a lot of training, and we work to make our culture the core to our operation. We thank our team, and we appreciate everything they do every day. And we appreciate working with Workforce Solutions. So thank you.
Great, thank you so much. And we do have a video with you as well we would like to share with the audience.
There, this is my partner Troy, and Carol Clean, a 100-year-old company, and we are very honored to be recognized by Texas Workforce.
Yeah, again, Peter said we thank you for being a part of Workforce Solutions. They've been a big part of our growth over this last year with COVID-19 and being in the business of disinfectants and hand sanitizer. We've truly grown our business and grown our workforce by working with Workforce Solutions, so we thank you. We have 4 things that we talk about when we hire. It's we build trust, we respect each other, we work hard to be the best, and we find solutions. And we really think that that has allowed us to grow and allowed us to hire over 100 people from Workforce Solutions this year. So thank you. It's an honor to work with you. We at Carol Clean wouldn't be where we were today without your help.
All right, thank you so much, Peter Zier and Carol Clean.
Thank you, Amazon and Carol Clean. My name is Connie Rash, Senior Vice President, and I'm presenting the next awards for community partners. Thank you to all of our community partners who have assisted us through their contributions to our mutual customers. We have seen greater needs during COVID-19, and without strong community partners, many of our customers would go without food, housing, job readiness, skills training, and childcare. We appreciate the connectivity throughout 2020 and all of their volunteer hours. The first award goes to Buckner Family Hope Center. We want to thank, this is Cheryl Williams, for your constant communication and support throughout the pandemic. And year-round, Buckner's support for the community and referrals to our workforce program. The next award goes to Cardboard Project. Thank you to Angelica Ramirez Villarreal for extra efforts in outreach, referrals, and reaching those who need workforce services. Your efforts have allowed people to get to work. Thank you, Cardboard Project. The next award goes to City Square Food Pantry. As a good neighbor, City Square Food Pantry really stepped up to assist our workforce customers during the times of great need. We want to thank Meredith Parrott for your partnership in serving our job seekers who were in need of food. Cornerstone Community Kitchen. Thank you, Cornerstone Community Kitchen, serving South Dallas with hot meals daily. We appreciate you extending your services to our customers and allowing our team to work alongside you. Dallas Christian Women's Job Corps. We want to thank you for your services to women in Dallas County, offering job readiness and counseling. Family Gateway. Thank you for offering help and shelter to those in need, especially those seeking our services. Inspired Vision Compassion Center. Many of our job seekers receive food and personal necessities during this crisis. We want to thank you for serving all of Dallas. Joseph's House. Our TANF and SNAP Center staff refer participants to the Joseph's House for food, clothing, personal hygiene, and diapers on many occasions. Joseph's House also sponsored 2 TANF families last Christmas with the help from Ms. Joshua. You are always willing to help when asked, and we thank you for everything you do. Martin Luther King Jr. Community Center. Thank you, LaRonda Bacon, for your partnership with our community center. Job seekers benefited through your exercises and job readiness, community fairs, work experience opportunities, and fulfilling community service hours. You are helping the people in the community gain employment and aspiring to live their best life. North Texas Food Bank. The North Texas Food Bank has offered thousands of meals to Dallas. Tricia Cunningham and teams across our community have accepted numerous referrals for job seekers in need. Since 1982, North Texas Food Bank provided a core benefit to those in food insecurity, but never more than needed in 2020. The non-traditional visitor to food banks appreciate the welcoming spirit and generosity at every location. Thank you for feeding our community every day, but especially during these very difficult times. We truly appreciate you. Stacy Bells with BT Law. Thank you to Stacy Bells. Without Stacy, we would have never made it through 2020, seriously, or at least never had a board meeting for 6 months. Stacy held us up until we found our footing and woke up really early every third Wednesday to welcome us to WebEx virtual meetings. There really aren't enough words, particularly from me and Lori. We thank you for your hard work, long hours with us during COVID-19. We know it wasn't easy, but you made our work possible, and we greatly appreciate your generosity. The Salvation Army, Oak Cliff. We recognize the efforts of Salvation Army, specifically Maria and Mario Maldonado and Soraya. We recognize you today for your continued support and encouragement of customers. You're urging into our workforce system. We have seen large numbers of referrals, especially during the last holiday season and throughout the pandemic. Thank you for caring. And our very last award goes to Workforce Solutions for North Central Texas. Today, we recognize our neighboring board for their unique contribution to the DFW region. The Board of Workforce Solutions for North Central Texas, under the leadership of Board Chair Roger Harris and the direction of Executive Director David Setzer, made an extraordinary gesture on behalf of the marketplace. In childcare, the board determined that their funding was ample for their current customers, but that their workforce comes from throughout DFW. They voted to allow our system to use funding for our excess needs in childcare to benefit the workforce of DFW. It was an unprecedented gift and deserving of recognition. David, on behalf of our community, we thank you. And I believe David's online if you would like to say a few words.
I am, thank you.
You're welcome.
On behalf of our board chair, Roger, and our members, thank you to Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas. We're very, very pleased to receive this award, although what we did made so much sense that it was just kind of a no-brainer. As many of you board members that have been on for a while know that childcare has been kind of a roller coaster for us since 2016 when new participation rules were implemented. And we've had times when we were full speed ahead, and we've had times when we were almost full stop. So it's made the program difficult. And so in 2019, we did find ourselves, although meeting performance, we found ourselves with a surplus of funding. And at the same time, we knew there was need other places in the region. So we reached out to TWC and we wanted to make that funding available because our region is so homogeneous, you know, job seekers, employers in all of our counties, all of our board areas, our job seekers cross county lines and board lines to work. And so it just made so much sense to keep that funding in the region. So we negotiated with TWC and we did just that. And we're more than happy that it worked out for both of us. Thank you so much.
Thank you, David. You don't know how many lives you helped. It's really appreciated.
Congratulations to all of our partners, and please know we're here for 2021. Let's keep this momentum going. Thank you.
Congratulations to each of the community partners. Thank you, David. We really appreciate it. Childcare, we know the struggle in childcare. Thank you so much. Good morning, I'm Demetria Robinson. It is my honor to present the annual Randall Rear Workforce Excellence Award, honoring our finest professionals doing their very best in customer service. Randall was commensurate professional, retail trained in customer service. He's been gone over 7 years, but his legacy remains, sharing his expectation that our customers receive excellent service and compassion. Randall was a friend. Lori usually does this presentation, but I get the honor to do it this year. When seeking the employee who most exemplifies Randall's expectations, not just one, but 2 names came forward. I'm proud to acknowledge this year's exemplary recipients of Randall Rear Workforce Excellence Award. Marquita Greer, vocational rehabilitation counselor at Preston and Alpha Center, took the one-stop service delivery philosophy to heart. From the onset of vocational rehabilitation services to integration with workforce services, she took the initiative to partner with center management to benefit North Dallas community. The Preston and Alpha Center's service delivery, as well as our overall Dallas system, was part of Marquita's plan. Marquita quickly began working with all workforce centers departments, attending each program orientation, providing an overview of vocational rehabilitation services. As a result of her passion to serve those most in need, her team spirit approach, and focus on providing hope to each individual she assisted, Marquita surpassed goals and expectations. She managed to incorporate wraparound services to the customers that were assigned to her for case management, and as a result of her success, she was asked to serve on a task force designed to develop a streamlined integration strategy, finding the balance and working together to achieve one goal, which was shared with leadership responsible for program services and vocational rehabilitation services in each of our workforce centers. Marquita has since been promoted to community outreach and awareness specialist. Her commitment to excellence is one we all admire and applaud. Thank you, Marquita, and congratulations. Our second recipient is Joyce Wilson. She has made no excuses during the pandemic, no matter what obstacles have surfaced. Instead, she's raised her level of service to ensure that dislocated job seekers receive career and training services to best meet the employment needs. Joyce voices what assistance she needs, and her staff rally around her due largely in part to her customer first spirit. She has written the most training scholarships this year with 72, just since the pandemic. She was the first talent development specialist to solidify a strategy to serve our customers virtually from orientation to intake to training. As a result of her success, Joyce's strategy was shared with all centers. Because of her work ethic and customer service, Joyce has received numerous written commendations from customers that were left extremely satisfied with her service delivery, genuine concern, and follow through. She pushes customers towards goal attainment and pulls them outside of their comfort zone. She celebrates successes with them every step of the way. Joyce always responds to each by simply saying, "I'm just doing my job." Thank you, Joyce, and congratulations.
Congratulations to this year's, and thank you, Demetria. That was lovely, and two very deserving award winners. Thank you so much to the staff that recommended them and observed their work. I try to do this every year. Some years we don't have the opportunity because there wasn't anything special. This year, everything's special. So we have some presidential awards that I would like to present in letting the community know and in letting the board know exactly what these contractors have been doing that contributes to what we're talking about today. We wouldn't be able to do this without them, but today more than ever. Child Care Group is first up. Child Care Group traces its origin to 1901 and is considered to be the first settlement house in Texas. The agency was founded near the corner of present-day Cedar Springs and McKinney Avenue in Dallas. It was established with a single purpose: to educate and care for the children of women who worked in the Dallas cotton industry. That simple statement and the 119 years since have presented change, wars, crisis, illness, but none more challenging than a fully deployed workforce. Remember, we were at 3% unemployment. That was completely dependent upon quality child care for their children to enable them to work. Handling millions of dollars in direct care and quality endeavors is hard enough without the added stress of COVID-19. Today's team, led by Tori Manis and her right hands, Rhonda Rakow, Sherry Anderson, pictured here, made a difference in so many lives and for so many childcare providers. They immediately pulled together PPE, cleaning supplies, advocated for their industry, call after call. Within days, they pivoted to online services. They have always been a leader in paperless work, but this took them farther and faster. Among local voices and state voices, CCG distinguished itself as a leader in times of greatest distress for the industry. As if that wasn't enough, Rhonda began weekly coffee chats with the providers to ease their stress and increase their communication. The team held drive-through distribution of supplies, assisted in all discussions around emergency centers, and most significantly, implementing constant changing policy from the state. It was like whitewater rafting. Opportunity presented itself to assist our providers with CARES Act funding and no guidelines. But with Demetria's leadership, they got it done. The goal was to preserve the industry so it would be here when people returned to work. They survived and thrived under pressure. Today, we want to say thank you, recognize their amazing strength and passion in childcare. It's always been the organization's only mission, but I know the founders would find this to be an exemplary fulfillment of that mission. Thank you, Child Care Group, and I'd like to introduce Tori Manis if she would like to say a few words. Tori?
Thank you so much, Lori, and I appreciate your kind words. This honor means so much to Child Care Group, and I accept it on behalf of our agency, particularly the leaders who really have made this happen: Sherry Anderson, Rhonda Rakow, Raquel Washington, Mark Browder, so many others at our team. And I think that in a crisis, a team really reveals its true colors. And I have to say, I am so grateful for our Child Care Group team, who really showed itself to be among the best. Lori has shared a number of the things that we've done over the last 8 months. It's amazing, but ironically, a little fun fact you may not know, this is not our first pandemic. Child Care Group was 17 years old during the 1918 pandemic, the Spanish flu pandemic. And at that time, our predecessor agency was caring for the infants and children whose parents were suffering from influenza. So we go way, way back with dealing in crisis. This one, of course, in modern times has been extraordinary, and communication has been key. We are so grateful for the efforts of the Workforce Board and Texas Workforce Commission for standing with us and to help support and sustain our child care providers. They really are the workforce behind the workforce. And when this pandemic is over, for our economy to get going again and our workforce to be up and thriving, we really must have our child care system up and operational. It is our honor to work in this space and to manage the child care subsidy contract for Workforce Solutions for so many years. It's an incredibly important piece of our business and our mission. And we thank you for this opportunity and for the recognition today. Thank you.
Thank you, Tori. Yay. To you and your whole team. And I know it's a very large team. There's plenty of work to be done. We will have to restore the system for all the losses. I was on a call this week with National Audience, and so many workforce boards are realizing that, you know, we can't get back to work. It would be, without childcare, it's like being without public transportation. You cannot put people back to work without quality childcare first. So there is a place for your voice at the national level as well, and we encourage you to keep going. And I know you are working in 2 other board areas in Texas, and that they also appreciate the strong work that comes out of Child Care Group. That 119 years is showing. Y'all do a good job. Thank you. Our next award, and no, yes, this is no small effort. The next award is presented to a transformational entity. They began COVID-19 crisis as ResCare, and they emerged as Equus. They did a little bit of what Dallas College did. Let's do a whole refit. This is Miss Tara Nunn accepting on behalf of the provider. It's a comprehensive provider, workforce development services in North America, a 50+ year legacy of experience in development, design, and delivery of demand-driven workforce solutions. We can attest to that. Demand-driven was the order of the day throughout this unprecedented time. We have always appreciated a strong corporate entity managing the Dallas Workforce Centers. That's sort of our stock in trade. We were the first to privatize in the nation. But we have a stronger testimony to offer today after weathering this period of operation. Without our asking, they had plans, orders for supplies. They were staying in the centers to attend to customers, even after the community acknowledged the spread of the virus and the most businesses were shuttered. Equus was on the job. Project Director Tara Nunn, Regional Director Lisa Boyd were there for Dallas. They worked tirelessly to assist the board staff and other contractors in making a successful transition to telework. I have to mention the center managers, my managers. I know they get time with me and not enough time through this. Tammy Cooper, Patricia Washington, David Corzo, Rick Rodriguez, Shauna Burrows, Willie Matlock, Dornella Jackson, Otis Hewitt, and DeShayla Jefferson. This year, we didn't pick a center of the year because they are all worthy of this recognition. Once phones were moved to homes and doors were finally closed, they began to work on essential jobs. For those who had to work, they deployed all their energy in placing people in the available jobs in times when few people wanted to risk it. Team risked their own health to keep the centers going, and several experienced COVID firsthand. They also turned an ear to every angry, frustrated, grieving caller. Former employees turned to unemployed claimants. This was grueling work. We have few answers, but Equus offered some and always offered a listening ear to these customers. Special shout out to Georgia Knox and Rick Rodriguez for stepping up each time Tara and I asked for a special case to be explained, conveyed to the state for resolution or finding a resolution through the system. They and others did work that is not their primary assignment, but their passion for the workers led them to assist. The efforts didn't stop there. Lisa Boyd provided the platform for all of our system-wide meetings for several weeks, months, allowing us to regain our normal operations remotely. In recent weeks, their local staff volunteered at Cornerstone Community Kitchen. Felicia Rabone, Darice Anderson, Linda Edwards, Patricia Mabry, and Sherry Miniweather volunteered to partner with Cornerstone Community Kitchen to prep and serve meals to the South Dallas community. Food can do much more than feed. Cornerstone Community Kitchen uses food as a tool to strengthen bodies, minds, and build healthier, more sustainable communities. Not only was each one just pumped to assist, they have decided to make it an ongoing service to assist Cornerstone Community Kitchen on a monthly basis, thus allowing the opportunity for Equus team members to share in giving back to the community. And shout out to the corporation. Equus has made this a part of their national platform, encouraging the giving spirit of their company in the communities. I have to make a point about Equus. They reside elsewhere, but everyone who works for Equus in the Dallas market lives here. They are the community serving the community. Even now, they are poised to reopen as soon as possible, but doing it safely for our customers and their teams. We are grateful, more than grateful. Please congratulate Equus on their COVID-19 Commitment Award. I think we have Tara and Lisa both online. Both of you are welcome to speak, but Lisa, I'll let you call it first. Is it Tara? Is it Lisa?
I think Tara will go first. Thank you.
Good morning. Wow, this is such an honor. Definitely couldn't do this without the team, Lori. So thank you so much for acknowledging each of our leaders. They are keeping me sane, but at the same time, anytime I ask for them to rise to any challenge, they're always willing. Great ideas. I tell them daily, I can't do this on my own. So to work with such a great group of individuals who get the mission, the vision, the purpose of why we do what we do is just something that is just almost hard to express into words. I'm just grateful, I'm humbled, very appreciative of the award, but I must end by saying, Lori, thank you. Your leadership, your support, your guidance and direction, your availability, always being responsive. We couldn't do what we do without all of the support that you give us on a daily basis, no matter what time. You've been very available to me and the team, and we're extremely appreciative. And I also want to acknowledge your team, because we couldn't do what we do without them. They've been extremely responsive. Every challenge, every obstacle, every idea, they're there to support us. So this is definitely a team award, and we are humbled and very appreciative. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Lori, I would just add a couple of things. I agree with everything that Tara has said. And I want to thank Workforce Solutions Greater Dallas for our partnership. I want to thank you, Lori, and your team for putting safety and making sure our staff stayed healthy and safe, as well as the individuals that we're serving in the community. We're excited to be reopening and taking this next step in this long chapter of COVID. I appreciate the opportunity we've had to innovate and operationalize what your vision was right away out of the gate with Jobs Now and making that happen. So thank you for giving us that vision and trusting us to make it happen. This has been a tough situation, but I think we've all found new ways of doing business that in the end are making us better. So thank you again for your partnership and for the award. We appreciate you. And to Tara and the team, appreciate everything that you're doing every day to make it happen. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. So appreciative. And last but not least, and I know everyone that we've recognized will say the same, we could not have done this, any of this, without remote work, remote telephones, and online safe work. Not possible without QNet Information Services, led by the founder and owner, Larry Hall. I believe we've got there's Larry and the award. And Larry is joining us by phone. I'll bring him in just a moment, but we'd like to talk about what they've been able to do for us. Larry and his team, and I'm going to just shout out to Donnie Rayford, Abe Medina, Tom Sullivan. They've worked in our centers for years, and they've worked in our offices with the assistance of Alex Perez on our team and Diana Gutierrez. We could not have done it without them. These guys brought us home and worked around the clock to keep us going. It was not easy. There were hundreds of issues, limited equipment, Couldn't order everything we wanted in the time we wanted, but the team had worked together to prepare. There was enough equipment to get most of us home and do the essential service work that we needed to do initially. When the supplies weren't there, they dismantled one of the resource rooms at one of the offices to make more equipment available to the centers. It's all back where it belongs now. This kept going for weeks and months, building our capacity to withstand whatever was to come and risking their own health by serving multiple locations and home visits. You want a partner like QNet when you have to face the biggest tech challenge of our industry. They went above and beyond, even helping me weather an at-home hack. They know the people who make makes tech safe and keep all of us working. They do this for all their customers, but we feel special. Isn't that the hallmark of customer service when it's done right? Congratulations and thank you to Larry Hall and the team at QNet Information Services. Seriously, we could have done none of this without you. Larry, if you're on phone, I think it's hilarious today of all people. Oh, he's on camera. Yay. He sent me a note that he was having spectrum difficulty. Larry, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you, Lori. Thank you and your staff for this award. We're humbled to accept it. And with the 16 years of working with the Workforce Solutions, we understand the task that you guys have at hand, and we're here to support you and my team, and we're really grateful that you recognized us for this award today. We appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Larry, we really couldn't be here without you. We cannot say enough about you and your people, and hopefully things are getting a little more normal, but I know you've got big jobs as well as our job, but you always have made us feel like the only customer. And for that, we thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it so much.
Each year, in addition to all the awards you've heard today, we also honor our own staff at Workforce Solutions for tenure. Each year, we look at not just the tenure, but the quality of the work. I have 4 women to talk about today, and each has displayed energy in response to this emergent situation. For all who work at Ross Tower, thank you, not just these 4. Bravo. Wish we could all be together today for hugs and photos by James and a shared breakfast, but this celebration is nonetheless special. It is about our work and your contributions to WFS Dallas. Did I mention photos? Well, we thought it would be a nice touch to do then and now photos of the 10 years for Lady Avila. Lady Avila, and it's Lady, L-E-I-D-Y. We're not calling her Lady, L-A-D-Y. Lady, and I can't say it as well as she can. She is bright, spontaneous, bilingual. She does all of our document translation. She is social and very talkative, and so much more. Lady brought a sense of wonder and excitement to her work in the front office for all of these 10 years. She is answering our main number at home these days, working with the network of the center staff that is answering phones and making sure that customers are being served. She is part of procurement, inventory, and all front office operations. On occasion, she steps in for accounts payable and is assisted in every department. Lady, your work is appreciated. You are appreciated, and congratulations on 10 years. The next up with 10 years, we go to the fiscal department. Rowena Ho joined us as a budget analyst and since made her way to accountant 4 and now is the accounting manager. She is the go-to person in the fiscal department. When you have a question, she has quickly become an expert in childcare, adult education, and all financial reporting to the state. None of those are easy tasks, not one of them. Since her promotion to manager in 2018, Rowena jumped into her work and a new role of professional development and training for the entire staff. The board is very lucky to have Rowena. And to put it in her boss's words, Ms. Ashley says, by the way, the best gift Mike ever gave me was hiring Rowena. I am truly blessed to have the honor of working with this wonderful lady in and day out, and we couldn't agree more. Thank you, Ro, for all your great work. And there she is with Demetria. We lead right into Demetria. She is our, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Becky Monette. Becky. Sorry, I got it out of order. See, we went vintage, Becky. Becky Monette truly has been in the system probably as long as I have in Dallas, the Dallas part of my career. Becky was already in the system, but she's worked at every level, had every job. She worked for contractors and another contractor, and then 10 years ago, Randall Weir brought her to the board staff. She has flourished in every role. And these are not easy roles. Becky answers complaints. She represents the system during hearings and appeals, coordinates with the independent monitors, assists Barbara Webo with all things vocational rehab, including Ticket to Work. She is a master of all and does it with an organized desk, which genuinely bugs me. Becky, thank you for all your flexibility and willingness to serve the community. Your contributions are greatly appreciated. And I miss you. I normally see her every day. She is just steadfast in what she does. Becky, thank you for all of your 10 years with the Workforce Board and for your full career in the Dallas Workforce Centers. Now, there's only one person with 15 years, and there is only one Demetria Robinson. See how vintage we went? That was your maiden name, I believe. Our newly minted executive VP came to us with skills and her maiden name. She moved to Dallas to marry her guy and take on the big city. She's done just that. She began as the contracts department and quickly moved to special initiatives related to every master contract. From workforce to childcare to adult education to everything in between, Demetria is writing the contract and implementing the strategy. She works very long hours, but she is all heart for these programs. She is building a team that will give her more time to explore what's next. During COVID, she handled the coordination of the CARES Act funding to the many grants distributed to childcare group and the childcare centers. She never stops moving forward, challenges herself. She is one of the three that keeps the Workforce Solutions growing. And those are the three women who work for me. Thank you for sharing your gifts here. I even had a threat this week to try to hire you away from us, from your former employers at Rural Capital. I suggested that I needed one of their people, and Paul quickly said, we'll try to take her back. And I told him that it was a no chance that you were home. Thank you, Dee, for everything you do for us. I know we appreciate you, and I think you know that, but thank you. All right, I'm going to be dehydrated if I don't stop this. Another year of celebrating workforce despite and because of COVID. We've learned a lot about our partners and our customers, but most of all, we've learned a lot about the word we. You've heard it all day, and it matters. It takes all of us for a challenge this big. Workforce skills training, childcare, adult education, youth programs, and poverty mitigation through work. This is the most important economic work of the day. We will stay the course and make a difference every day. Ellen, thank you for continuing to lead, and thank you to all of the amazing board members. We need your guidance, your strategy, and your vision for this community. And with that, that concludes our award ceremony for 2020. Thank you all so much for being with us today and for participating. And I will let the chair bring us into the board packet. But for all of you who were here for the awards, this is done, and we will go into the business meeting. Thank you.
Thank you, Lori, and staff, and all who are here and attendees. Again, congratulations to all the awardees today. You know, what a way to kind of tie a bow onto 2020 in such an uplifting and inspiring time of celebration today. Only Workforce Solution Greater Dallas could make that one happen in this way. So thank you for that. So I'm going to bring us back into our board meeting. There were no public comments that were listed. So if anyone has public comments at this time, If you would unmute and let us know. All right, not hearing or seeing anything in our chat. I will just give some, I guess, brief remarks, as this would be my last meeting in this seat, to say, since our last meeting, you know, it continues. During this time of a pandemic, attended TOB, attended, and we'll hear a report on from childcare task force that has been put together. There's been a lot of activity. It is nonstop. So even though we're doing this time, Workforce Solutions has not missed a beat. And thank you to staff and Lori for that. So the focus is still on, you know, taking care of those who are in need, and in need more than ever before. And so to all of the our board members, thank you for giving of your time, your thoughts and your ideas. We need to be as innovative as possible. And I think this virtual world that we're in has actually opened that door around the world, as a matter of fact, and touched all businesses and all organizations in a way that we've had to step up and do things differently and be accepting of that. And that requires sometimes a mindset change. And we have all been put in that position for that to happen, but it happens when we're in it together. And I know we hear that it's become the cliche, we're in it together, but as well as looking forward into the future, I say it has truly been a pleasure to sit in this seat and to work with each one of you. And so I look forward to continuing to be a part of this great organization. And with that, I would like to announce our proposal for officers moving into 2021. You know, first of all, I would like to thank our nominating committee that was formed. And that is Holly, thank you, Carter, Gilbert, and Ken. And then Lori and Connie were a part of our meeting, and this took place on October the 7th. And so I would like to propose our slate of officers for 2021, Chair being Bill O'Dyer, Vice Chair, Michelle Thomas, and Treasurer, Carter Halston. And so I am submitting these names as our slate of officers for 2021 to 2022. And with that, I would like to ask for a motion to accept this slate of officers. I don't know if there are any comments or remarks at this time. Not seeing any, I would like to recommend this for, if I could get a motion to accept the proposal.
Ellen, this is Terry. I'll move to accept.
Thank you, Terry. Can I get a second?
I'll second. This is Susan.
Thank you, Susan. For all those in favor, you know what I didn't do? I'm sorry. I should have done a declaration of my last meeting, declaration of conflict. I did not do that prior to proposing the motion. So we do want to get those listed.
I think we're okay for the voting on officers. There should be no conflict, and we can take it up right after this.
All right, great, thank you. So we have a motion. All those in favor, say aye if you unmute.
Aye.
Do we have any opposed? All right, thank you, so moved. Thank you. And congratulations to those who will be stepping into this role for 2021. I'm sure it promises to be an exciting year. Hopefully the excitement is a bit different than 2020, but we will step in there and handle it as it is. All right, so now I will ask, was there a comment? All right, any declaration of conflict of interest? We can get those listed.
This is Terry Equus.
Thank you, Terry.
Kevin Faulkner, anything related to TWC?
Thanks, Kevin.
And Rolinda Duran, TWC.
Thanks, Rolinda.
Shannon Gray, Texas Department of Health and Human Services.
Thank you, Shannon. All right. All right, so next, let's move to the consent agenda. Do we have any comments or corrections or, excuse me, at all for the consent agenda?
This is Gilbert. I'll move for approval of the consent agenda.
Thank you, Gilbert. Can I get a second?
Second.
Thank you. Is that Ken? Thank you.
Yes.
All right. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions?
We have
All
noted
right.
mentions that were previously mentioned, and we will do that on each action.
All right, thank you. All right, so next, let's move to means, ends, and expectations.
Good morning. I'm Ashley Berner, Chief Financial Officer for the board. First, I have the honor of introducing to you our new Accountant 6, Brandon Salisbury. He began working with us in August. Brandon is a CPA, and he comes to us with experience from public companies, including Toyota Industries and EnLink Midstream. Brandon graduated from New Mexico State University with a Bachelor of Accountancy and Finance. He received his MBA from Texas Tech. Brandon has quickly made himself a wonderful addition to the fiscal department and the board team as a whole. Brandon, please say hi to the board.
Hello, how's everyone?
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're glad to have you.
Congratulations.
We're very glad to have him as an addition. It's helped balance out the workload. Ashley, Rowena has come out. They all do a great job, but Brandon, you're well received on their end. And thank you for joining us this morning to meet the board and experience the meeting. Brandon is a father of a young child as well. He's coming to us. We're taking childcare more seriously these days. We have at least one new baby, one that's almost one and one that is over one. But these are our babies and toddlers, and it puts our minds right where the focus should be. Brandon, anything, your experiences, because he's one of our virtual hires. He came in, he had all of his activities virtually. Thank you, Barbara Stein and Ashley. Any comments about working in the nonprofit sector?
I would just like to say thank you for everything that you do. It's been a pleasure seeing how the nonprofit side works in a time like this. I've always was aware of TWC and the workforce solutions, but it's another thing to be a part of it and to see what we do every day and the impact that we make for our communities is really good to be a part of.
Appreciate that.
Thank you. Thank you, Brandon, for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
Well, I'll move on to the numbers because that's what I do. Expenditures and financial statements begin on page 13 of your board packet this month. The expenditure report is based on year-to-date expenditures through August 2020. We have a few blue lines for you beginning on page 14. We have highlighted the program year 2020 grants for the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP, Non-Custodial Parent Choices Program, NCP, and Temporary Assistance for Needy Families, or TANF. These funds are time limited. We generally have to send back money related to SNAP and NCP as the grants end on September 30th of each year, with the new grant beginning on October 1st. This means there is no carryover period to spend out the prior year grant. TANF does have a carryover month. In the month of October, both the old grant and the new grant are open. However, this year we have struggled with lack of availability. We do anticipate returning money in TANF once the grant ends on October 31st. We are working with Equus on strategies for spending. You'll see the second blue line on this page is for SNAP program year 2021. Last month, we obligated funds related to the new grant year. After we obligated these amounts, we received an additional $800,000 SNAP amount from the state. Demetria will bring the additional amount to obligate to you for recommendation later in the meeting. The final two blue lines I would like to address are the child care formula allocation at the bottom of this page and the child care quality grant on page 15. These two grants were noted in the consent agenda. We have received additional pockets of money in the overall child care grant related to COVID. Additionally, we will be receiving an extension on the quality funds to spend through December 31st. We have already, or you have already approved obligating additional amounts in both grants this morning. Now at the bottom of page 16, we have included our recommendations for health insurance quotes for continued health coverage for the board effective January 1st, 2021. This has definitely been a different year for all of us, and even more so due to COVID. As is always the case, we share insurance coverage options. We have outlined on this page options we have reviewed, including our current Blue Cross Blue Shield provider and additional quotes from Scott and White Health Plan, United Healthcare, and Humana, all of which are ACA compliant. The January 1st rates are not yet available, but we have run a comparison based on November 1st rates to compare apples to apples. We would like approval to move forward with negotiations once renewal quotes are received.
Nash, this is something we do every year because there's just no way, and this year is extraordinary. When we went to our broker to ask about rates, and they're never available for our October meeting, but usually we get them by November. I think the range he stated was anywhere from 3% to 10% increase, most resting in the 7 to 8%, but it's a whole new game if partial or the full ACA are discounted by the courts later this month. So we are in a situation, I don't know if anybody else is tackling this at your agency, your company, your nonprofit. We are in a wait and see mode. He was going to give us some quotes on non-ACA certified or compliant. And I told him just stop right there. I don't want to get into a mix and match and buying into something that may or may not count in 21. I'm thinking that if it does become, if 21 is a change year, there will be a period of adjustment, surely. We will not just flip a switch and try to switch everything for January 1. I could be wrong. I've been wrong before about that. But I'm hopeful that we will have the opportunity to continue our policy if that's the right one. None of these policies are identical. They are all over the map, some with extremely high deductibles and some with no coverage. So these are not all apples to apples, but we're going to keep working it, guys, but we have no option but to try to the continuity of care, just as everyone will have to do December 31st. And hopefully, if there are big changes, we can make different choices in the new year. Anybody want to offer any advice, assistance? Any of you experiencing anything similar, or it's a little too early probably? We are at the beginning of the last quarter, and for the insurance business, that's really early. Hopefully you'll trust us with an action to continue to work with our broker, make the best choices, and keep the door open if we have to make changes.
I make a motion that we allow you to continue negotiations for the healthcare coverage.
Thank you,
Thank you, Carter. Can I get a second?
You can second.
Thank you. All those in favor? say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Nay. Any abstentions on this one? All right, so moved. Thank you.
Thanks, Ash. I think Richard's next. Richard, you're on mute. We had to have one. There you go.
There we go. Sorry about that. Good morning again. I'm Richard Perez. I'm the research manager with Workforce Solutions. And I'm going to be going over the MPR, which is the monthly performance report. And that is on page 17. Excuse me, 18. So this month, August MPR has a few things that are different. The choices performance rate, I'll just go straight there, is marked NA for this month. And we heard late from the state yesterday that they're going to be taking this measure and other measures to the commission soon with recommendations on how to handle specifically choices, but maybe some of the other performance measures. The idea is for choices is to just look at the period of performance pre-COVID. But that's an idea, and it would have to take it to the commission. So there'll be more to come on that soon. But just touching on all the other measures, the WIOA measures are all doing well. The next MPR, September, is our last performance report for the year. And soon after, we should be getting a year-end report, which should look very similar to the September report. Again, WIOA performance measures touch on basically four measures: entered employment, median earnings, credential rate, and retention, which is employed in the fourth quarter. And those cover adult, dislocated worker, and youth. And I'll take any questions before we get into, or before Mario gets into the economic report. Okay. No questions? And so I will hand it over to Mario, and he will go over the economic snapshot, and I'll leave it to him. Thanks, Mario.
Sure. Hi, I'm Mario Castaneda, research analyst for the Workforce Board. And hopefully they're doing utility work outside my window right now, so hopefully you don't hear that. Anyways, I'm going to be talking about page 21, the economic snapshot page, the data page. So basically this month, I wanted to highlight the shift in demographic information or demographics of the UI claimants from one of the peak weeks, which is March 15th, to one of the latest ones that we have now, which was September 20th. Well, actually, first, let me talk about the unemployment rate. The unemployment rate for September actually jumped up to 8.2%. If you recall, back in April, we hit a high of 13.1%. And since then, it had gradually decreased, so much so that in August, it was at 6.9% unemployment rate. But we did see that bump again in September, which is a little worrisome. But it's something we'll keep an eye on to close out the year. If you look at, here, maybe it would help if I share my screen. There we go. So if you look at the total UI claims that we've had since March, from March through the end of September, we're at 294,000. But actually just check that number, and we've actually surpassed the 300,000 UI claims. Just the sheer magnitude of that number seems unreal, but I mean, it's happening, and we've seen it for the past 7 months now. Dallas County leads our region. Obviously, we have the most jobs, so we would have the most UI claims as well. In terms of the age that we saw at the beginning of the pandemic, in terms of we saw about 52% were under the age of 34. Since then, we've seen it kind of normalize a bit and kind of level out for the rest of the age groups. But just that over half of the UI claims on March 15th was under 34 is again a scary number. Another thing that jumps out was the gender of the UI claims at the beginning of the pandemic. Nearly 60% were female. This last week's worth of data, it's showing that it's about 50-50 again. And then the educational attainment, we saw that the high school to some college, but no degree were some of the most heavily impacted. And since then, it's tapering off a little bit, but still something to keep an eye on. Again, I don't expect the recovery to really come on until we start seeing consumer spending pick up again. Unfortunately, that's a little bit more dependent on the number of cases that are going on. So until we truly see the cases go down, I don't expect the unemployment rate to recover as much as we expect or we want it to. But yeah, I'll stop there, see if there's any questions or discussions.
Some painful numbers, Mario, but I think it helps us to focus on the movement. We're not done.
So, Lori, this is Ken. Just a quick question. Is there any skepticism about the number that was presented the previous month at 6.9%? Because that sure seems like a large jump. And I've been reading a lot about this. It's statewide as well. Could there have been any issues relative to how they were reported the previous month?
I think that the issue there was how the unemployment rate is officially counted. It asked for, are you actively looking for jobs? And during some of this pandemic, there wasn't a job requirement or people were kind of just not out looking. So I think that once people start looking again, we'll start seeing that spike in unemployment rate officially.
So it was sort of a false flag, Ken, that people were withdrawing perhaps or presumed withdrawing, but we also are experiencing, and I don't want to call the hotel, but the temporary furloughs are now turning into permanent displacements. And that's in the lodging industry for sure. It may be more so in the travel industry as we look forward. So we're getting a mix of correcting figures, who's really in the market and who's getting out of the market as far as job search, but we're also going to see new displacement that was previously not reported.
Mario, also, would it include, there's thousands of individuals from corporations that are going on a partial leave, I'm going to call it, right? So you can come off, you're not totally off of the payroll. You may receive 25% of your pay and you're not working at all. And what we know is those individuals are also filing for unemployment benefits. So with that mixture and based on those numbers climbing, I'm going to say just from even a month ago, I would think that might be substantial, but I don't know if that's really showing up here as well.
You know what? I'm not sure on that one, Ella.
Okay.
But if they are filing unemployment, they will show up in the claimants.
Okay.
And even if
I don't know that they're searching for jobs though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But that first claim is a first claim. So wherever they made their first claim, whether they made it through or not, they're going to ding a bell. Then later on, if they're not actively searching, and again, nobody's actively searching. And I've talked to a lot of states this week. They're all talking about future. Here in Texas, we are looking at November 1, just in time for a new surge in the Dallas market. I'm also hearing Lubbock had a surge. There's a pocket there. So the state wants us to be safe, but the services have to be rendered. So they will be required, all claimants will be required 3 job searches per week. I think that was agreed to by this board and many of the boards. There's only a few that are trying to do more than that or much less than that, depending on the rural. So we'll see some interesting metrics and probably less continuity than I wish we had. Other comments?
Lori, I would like to say, I'm sorry, a bit late with what Richard reported earlier. I was just glad to see that they did pull choices to at least start to evaluate that, because I know you all have wanted that for some time, to take a look at it. And that seems to be very appropriate for them to do that at this time.
Absolutely. I'm just hopeful that it'll go our way. We were at exceeding 90% of goal pre-COVID, but they might ding us for the 5% between the 90 and the 95. So be it. We're not starting the year off great October 1 because, again, job search for TANF customers, not fully authorized yet. I think it was in full force for SNAP customers on food stamps. But we understand, and so does the state, these are rocky times for the metrics that we have all bought into over these years. Those metrics really are not forgiving. And if you miss month 1, month 2, it's very hard to recalibrate on a cumulative measure. And that's really what we're up against. But they have said that they're including both in the discussion. And it's a massive discussion with multiple spreadsheets.
I can imagine.
We have the new report today, report from the Child Care Task Force. Many of the members are on here, page 22 and 23, and I'm going to let the chair of that task force take this away, Susan. And I know Alan's on the line. Can you?
Thank you. Absolutely. I'll walk through this really quickly. I know we are, thank you all for being here for such a great extended meeting. And again, I want to extend my congratulations to all of the award winners, and especially to you, Ellen. You've been such a tremendous leader, and thank you. I'm thinking back, it's been just about a year ago that this task force was appointed. Thank you, Lori, for your support there, and for Ellen for instigating this, and to the members. And big thanks to Alan Cohen, who I know is on the line with us today, for your leadership and support. And so if you, as Lori said, as you see on pages 22 and 23 of your packet, there's an overview of the goals that for the task force, which we presented about a year ago now, and the members that attended the last session a couple of weeks ago on September 25th. And then also, I know in the past, Carter Holston as well as Jason Oliver have been active members of this group. Thank you to Alan. And Alan, I can turn it over to you if you want to walk very quickly through the SWOT analysis that that you presented and we discussed at our last meeting.
Sure, I'm happy to. And I guess just for time, I'll keep a really high level. And so you can see and read the SWOT or the highlights of the SWOT analysis in your packets. Here's the thing that I think is probably the most important point that came out of our discussion as a task force, which is it's really important to understand there is not a ton of flexibility within the dollars that we're entrusted with as a board and organization. So give or take, there's about $120 million that a year that we're responsible for regarding childcare. Obviously, that number's fluctuating, especially during these times. But it's a very, very small amount of those dollars that there's really any flexibility on. Most of those dollars are just a pass through. And our job is to make sure that we're stewards that get those dollars in the hands of childcare providers and that services are performed. Where there is real decision-making authority from this board is on the dollars related to quality. So that's only a couple $1 million. But the real opportunity is for us to truly understand what are the different options of what we could use for quality, what our highest calling for impact is. So we can do lots of things. So, given that there's only a few $1 million to drive $120 million, how do we prioritize what we could do with what we are going to do? You'll see the beginnings of some dashboards that the staff has put together in the packet, which is fantastic. But the other opportunity is to really put together a decisions dashboard so that everyone on the board knows where are our quality investments going right now. What are the expectations of success? What does success look like for those quality dollars? When do those votes come up over time? So we can really look at the portfolio month to month. I think, in the conversation, we sort of discussed this, and there will be no cold calling, but my guess is if I was to ask anybody on the board, myself included, to just talk through where are we spending all of our quality dollars, it would be very hard for any of us to provide a list of where those programs are or what the other options would be. And so that's just something that a dashboard can really help clarify over time. So I think that's the biggest opportunity. The only other thing is this childcare and how we care for our kids is going to take more than $120 million. It's going to require a lot of funds coming from other agencies and a lot of other stakeholders throughout Dallas. And so those quality dollars that we're spending is just a drop in the bucket compared to the entirety of our region. And if we're not able to clarify very clearly for the entire region, have a vision of what the entire region ecosystem should look like, whether it's stuff that's within our control or not, it's going to be very difficult to align. And the question becomes, do we as an organization want to have a very clear vision that we articulate out to our other partners throughout the community, or do we want to wait and allow other partners to clarify a vision and be asking us to take part in their vision? So that's either an opportunity or a threat in either direction, depending on how you look at it. But those are the really big takeaways. So if you remember nothing else from this, please remember of about $120 million that we control in childcare, we have real flexibility in how we spend only $2 or $3 million out of that.
Thanks, Alan. So if you see, and appreciate everyone's contribution, and as Alan rightly says, this is significant, actually the largest part of our revenue stream and contracts. So ensuring that everyone in the board has a clear understanding of our responsibilities and the work that happens in our community because of these child care funds is critically important and part of our role as in terms of good governance. If you look very quickly when you look in your packet on page 23, the dashboard, as Alan said, we have limited local flexibility, although in this box on the left, it talks about where our flexibility lies, which absolutely in the quality area, but then also in some other arenas, including selection of contractor, parent share of cost, eligibility within income range, and others that are critically important for us as a board to weigh in and make those decisions. You also see on this dashboard the average number of children in care. This report, I believe, is of July 2020. So it's over 16,000 children in care on a daily average. You see also in the middle, I'd point out what I'd call the super users. And so there are employers, Walmart, Amazon, Kroger, Parkland, and Dallas ISD, who collectively serve, or their parents had children in care, almost 9,000 working parents from those employers. And again, then you also see the number of children on the bottom right when you get a chance to look at this, of the children that are in quality care in our Texas Rising Star programs by star levels. And again, to Alan's point, this is an area where we have flexibility and influence in terms of driving quality, not only with the dollars that we control, but also in partnership and cross-sector collaboration with many others, whether they're philanthropic, corporate, or other leaders who also invest in childcare quality across the region. So I will stop there for any questions, and then I know we need to move along with our agenda. So thank you.
Susan Allen, thanks for your leadership in this area. Of course, it's a large dollar area and of paramount importance to the organization. You know, I would think that as a group, we should also be looking at, just like we are in the business community, innovative ways to do business. We've never changed or moved more than we have in the last 9 months, all of our organizations. And that's probably the silver lining, is that we all have been challenged to do things differently. And I applaud your efforts on looking at this particular area. And then I think as a group, we need to be thinking of ways to help them navigate through these most difficult times, looking for innovation and new ways of doing, you know, a very, very important thing. So my hat's off to you guys. Thanks for your good work there.
Well, thank you. An excellent point there, as Lori said toward the beginning of the meeting, certainly when she was recognizing childcare group, and Ellen as well. You know, childcare is the workforce behind the workforce. And if that system is not solid and effective, then we will not be able to help our economy get back to work. And so it is, to your point, Carter, paramount importance that we shore up this system. And, you know, I would say we may want to think about perhaps what I would call reimagining a system, because it's not as if this was an incredibly effective system prior to COVID. It was, it worked by hook or by crook. And so thinking through now innovative opportunities to recreate and reimagine a system for the future is a tremendous opportunity for us in this time.
Susan, I want to echo too with what Carter shared. Just thank you to you and Alan for taking this on. And I really am impressed with your approach as how you all are going about looking at this to determine what we can do moving forward. I like the SWOT, the way that's called out, in a way to understand and keep us focused in the direction that we need to right now. Because I agree with you, couldn't agree more. This is our future. And even though we're starting this young, it is truly our future moving forward in how we lay and set that path out. So thank you.
Thank you.
Are there any other questions, thoughts, or anything that anyone would like to share?
I'd like to add, since we've had the committee meeting, and thank you, Susan and Alan and all those that participated on the task force meeting a couple of weeks ago. It seemed like it's been so long, but it was just a few weeks ago. We recently had a meeting with TWC on contracted slots, which is another opportunity that's coming to us as a result of House Bill 680. And TWC has shared their vision on implementing this system. And for those that may not be familiar with contracted slots, those are opportunities with providers that we would actually contract to have them reserve space for children, whether it's due to gaps in a specific area or a specific target population that we may not be serving in an area. We could utilize this approach to stabilize some of our providers, as well as make childcare available. And so they began the discussions on it. They still have some rule changes to make. There is still development going on. We are on board and we'll be working with the state to determine the data that they have secured in reference to our area to help us figure out which way we need to approach it. And we'll be sharing that with the committee once we get more information.
Dee, just real quick, really happy to hear that. Kind of to Carter's point earlier, you know, one of the opportunities for innovation is when some of the rules and dynamics change around the system. I think contracted slots and kind of to Susan's point that, you know, we need to stabilize the industry in order to stabilize broader industry. Contracted slots could be a huge game changer in terms of stabilizing these childcare providers as businesses that are on, you know, very shaky ground. So really encourage you to continue doing that, and excited to hear about that.
Yeah, it will be a challenge, but we will figure out how we make it work. And I think the state is on board with with assisting us in that manner.
So with that, do you, nice transition over to Oversight's contracts with childcare?
Well, then I am up. Okay, good morning again. I'm on page 24, addressing the contracts that listed there. We have continued to negotiate with Child Care Group to provide management and operations of childcare services. Our latest analysis does not indicate enough money to cover the cost of performance targets assigned by TWC and afford CCG's latest proposal at $5.4 million in operating costs. We countered with $5.1 million, but failed to agree on a sum. As mentioned last month, we have operated in the past in a cost-efficient manner, and our available admin and ops allocation mirrors that behavior. We've considered many factors in the negotiation process. However, we will continue to negotiate with Child Care Group on the two issues of operating cost and direct payments within the projected contract budget amount of $79,926,203. This year's performance target has been lowered to $13,584. That's the average number of children served per day. Our target for this past year was 6,427. So it is a change. We knew it was going to be lower, which is better, but maintaining the performance is always a concern. Right now, enrollments are closed. We were in July, as that report showed, we were 16,000 with kids, 16,000 in care. We have already dropped all the way to 12,000 children in care, which is under our target. And so we have some work to do when it comes to enrollments and the amount of money that we have set with the target and the amount of money it takes for us to operate this program. So we're still looking at all factors. Some funds have not been allocated just yet. That is Department of Family and Protective Services, which those are pass-through funds directly for children in care that's under, that's referred to our system from Protective Services. So there may be an opportunity for us to have some operational costs from that grant, but that is solely based upon the actual expenditures. And I think the admin is only up to 5%. So we have a little work to do. Laura, you want to add?
Just real quick, guys, we've got a $300,000 separation, and it's about 50 kids in care in the target. But I'm not willing to write a contract that gambles on whether or not we can meet the effort. And we can't spend more money than what it is normally spent without meeting the target. So we're really in a very awkward place. We're going to continue to dig through all resources, particularly carryover money, match funds, everything we've got coming in the door to see if we can meet their needs. I believe their needs are real. We've asked them to go back and look at just a month at a time attrition to see if we can't get there. They do need to go up in cost, but because TWC is used to our cost efficiency, they saddled us with the 13,000 inside the money we're already receiving. So it's overly cost efficient compared to other areas of the state, and yet it is what we have. So we're going to continue to work with them, and if there are any issues in the months in between our January meeting, I will not be able to call a special meeting, but I would definitely communicate with the entire board as to what we're facing. I know we can come together on this, but right now we are not there.
Just, I've got a couple of questions. Just what is the two things? First is just what is the stated sort of rationale for, you know, $300,000 equating to 50 kids? So what specifically is that money being used for, and why does Child Care Group think that will make the difference?
Not to go too far in, Alan, I was making that both of those factors affect meeting in the middle. They are not similar particularly, but the 50 kids would be, if we could lose 50 on the target, I could meet their ops cost because it all comes from the same pot of money. So when you look at the cost per slot level, we need another 50 kids, which takes up that $300,000. I think it is all staff driven at this point. We don't see an extraordinary cost, but it's having enough hands to do this right. And as I mentioned, the whitewater rafting, they're quite concerned about having to come about to a normal frame and the kids aren't there and the vendors are not there. And there's an immediate call to hurry up and do recertifications when we haven't been doing recertifications for months. So it's the unknowns that I think they're skeptical that they can't keep doing this shorthanded. It runs a risk that they're not willing to take. They need the extra staff. We'd like to give them the staff, but it's not available inside the metrics. But we're going to continue to work on it.
I won't belabor the point. I'll just simply say that I think over time, I'd love to be able to have more visibility to understand. I'm generally supportive of more dollars going to support operations, given how difficult operations are. My understanding from our conversations is that Child Care Group doesn't just support our region with operations, but supports multiple regions in the area, which theoretically should provide some economies of scale and understanding how our dollars are being used versus other regions, and making sure that that we're doing a good deal is something that I'd love to have more visibility to. But the second point, maybe the more important point from the goal standpoint and meeting compliance is there any clarity that more dollars equals more kids, especially in an environment where we're at code red and parents may just not be sending their kids into environments during a pandemic? How do we know whether or not we're not hitting targets because we're in a pandemic situation versus not hitting targets because we don't have enough money flowing?
That it isn't the question of the day, but I'll answer the question. Right now, we're not in a position of missing targets on this one, and we don't think we'd miss the new target if all things were normal. Here's my concern is shooting lower, but then spending higher simultaneously. That's not a good look, that we go all in because we're not seeing kids come in the door and spend more on the operations.
Yeah, I guess I'd say this, and this is just my one person's take, and which is normally I would agree with that. I think we are in a pandemic environment, and if I was to err on one side or the other, my push would be to err on the side of making sure that dollars are there to support kids if they show up, and understanding that parents might not send them, and being ready to explain to the state that we're in uncharted territory. But I also really support, kind of the fiscal responsibility you're pushing. So just food for thought.
Thank you. Dee, keep moving. I know everybody's getting time limited, guys. We started a bit late. The little awards only took an hour, but we do need to get these 2 or 3 action items through. So Dee, grab the action on that was simply to continue negotiating. I think we can take all the actions in one bite on that page 24.
It looks like it, yes.
Next is the childcare quality contracts that was mentioned just a few minutes ago. We are in receipt of our 2021 childcare quality funds from TWC. We are entering into the second year of procurement with a list of training vendors and several professional development activities and training opportunities that were approved through that procurement process. The goal for these funds are to assist childcare providers in enhancing their skills and quality of services provided to children in care, and to increase the number of Texas Rising Star providers in Dallas County. We're requesting to contract with our existing childcare quality contractors as follows. 1.5 mil to childcare group. 850,000 of that is for quality activities. They do provide, manage, and coordinate these activities for the system. And then 688,000 is for the mentors that we are required to have in the Texas Rising Star program. In addition to that, we have 350,000 to Dallas College, who provide CDA training, early childhood development and administrative certificates, and other early childhood education opportunities as they expand services to multiple campuses this year. 115,000 goes to Together for Children, who provides taking charge of change leadership development training and infant toddler specific training. 35,000 to Campfire of Texas, who provide business and operations management training for directors, and 15,000 to First 3 Years, who provide a series on reflective supervision and COVID trauma for children and providers. We are still working with each of these providers to determine the provider needs as we go through this pandemic, and there may be some deviations from what was originally proposed. But if there anything that is significant, we will bring it back to the board for ratification. Any questions on that one? Okay. The last item I have is what Ashley mentioned in her report, was the new grant for supplemental nutrition assistance program. Currently, we have those services provided by Equus, and we're asking to add $604,500 to the existing contract to assist this population of customers with job preparation and to secure employment. And that's all I have.
Are there any comments or questions for Dee? We have 3 recommendations here for board authorization. I don't see any coming through. So one is, make sure I have all of them, Dee, to contract with Child Care Group for 2021.
Continue negotiating. I'm sorry. To continue negotiating.
On this one is to continue negotiating.
Yes, ma'am.
And then also authorization to contract with existing child care quality provider. And then also with the last one that she mentioned, to amend the existing Equus workforce systems operation with additional SNAP funds.
That
So
is it. Yes.
Combine these 3, can I get a motion?
I'll do a motion.
Move that we accept these 3.
Thank you, Dr. Knight. And can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, Bill. All those in favor, aye.
Aye. Aye.
Any abstentions? I'm sorry, any nays? Any abstentions on these recommendations?
I show Terry on Equus.
Okay.
Anything else?
I don't see any others. All right, so moved. Thank you. Thank you, Dee.
Thank you.
Connie?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Demetria. We appreciate everything you do. I'm covering policy, procurement, and oversight. For procurement, Lori sent out the bids that we received. The procurement was released September 24th with responses due on Monday, October 19th. So the 6 responses we received, 1 was missing some attachments. But our recommendation is we'd like some additional time to go through the bids and select some candidates for interviews and select the top scoring vendors. We'll share these recommendations with you. And since we don't have another meeting prior to January 1st, 2021, staff will bring a recommendation to the board for ratification at that time. So the recommendation is board authorization to continue to review and negotiate with the highest scoring vendors, those that meet the qualifications for this procurement, which may only include a few. Recommendations will be reviewed with you via email, and provided there are no concerns at that time, we ask for authority to begin work and provide for a ratification for a contract at the January meeting.
And that's controversial.
Yes. Hopefully not. Any questions?
All right, I don't see any questions or comments. Can I get a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Thank you, Carter.
This is Gilbert, I'll second.
Thank you, Gilbert. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed, nay? Any abstentions? All right, moved. Thank you, Connie.
Thank you. I also have a few more items under policy. If you look at page 25 in the middle of the page, most of these policies I'm covering, there's really no local flexibility. We're following the state's guidelines. For the SNAP policy, this is following the SNAP guide, which was issued October 2020. And the one item that we do have some flexibility on is offering support services during job retention. And our recommendation is to offer support services for a minimum of 30 days and no more than 90 days. And this doesn't apply for SNAP customers who are in sanction or penalty status. The next, I'll just run through these because I know we're running short of time. Child care policy, this one is also no local flexibility. We're following the WD letter, which is the Texas Workforce Commission policy 2520. And this is increases to child care provider maximum reimbursement rates. And the table that you see before you is also attached to the WD letter, and it shows the rate increases by category. The next policy is reinstatement of child care work requirement and discontinuance of extended eligibility redetermination period. That's pretty long there. It's following WD letter 2620. We'll follow those guidelines, and it's effective October 31st. TWC discontinues the waiver allowing unemployed families to continue to receive subsidized child care for an indefinite period, even though there is a permanent job loss. TWC will also reinstate the requirement for boards to provide no less than 3 months of child care following that permanent job loss. And the very last policy is for implementing federal poverty guidelines, and this is for eligibility. It's TWC policy 22-20, and the board has some flexibility on the income guidelines level. We've had 85% state median income since 2016. And if you'll look at page 27, I've highlighted the 85% SMI. This allows more working families to qualify for child care. So we've since 2016 selected a higher rate.
The most liberal.
Yes.
Liberal rate. So
yes.
What the board could do now would simply tighten up who's eligible to receive care. So right now, a family of 4 can make up to $69,000 annually and still qualify. And you understand, a family of 4 on 69, that's not an easy life, but there's no range to go any higher on income. We're at the top. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to explain it bare bones. A lot of boards are operating at a much lower rate to screen out when there's too many people that are eligible. We have not done that in a long time. And I specifically wouldn't want to do that during the pandemic when we're trying to get families back on their feet. So.
That's all I had, Ellen, for policy. If there's any questions on that.
Any questions or comments? If not, then I need a motion for the board to authorize to approve the policies as presented.
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Carter. Can I get a second?
I'll second.
Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, nay. Any abstentions?
Kevin, do you have to abstain when we adopt state policy, or is that okay? You're on mute.
I think I probably should
Okay.
abstain.
Relinda, would
So that will include me as well then. Thank you.
Okay,
get that recorded?
thank you.
I don't think it applies.
All right, so moved. Moving right along, Lori.
The last thing, I won't belabor anything else. We are trying to reopen November 1, guys. You know what we're up against. The last thing we want are a number of cases. We've already had several situations that were hard to recover. But I trust that all of our providers, you've heard how the quality and the heart has been applied through all of this. I'm very hopeful that we can maintain our balance through the end of 2020. Unless you have questions for me, I know some of this is frustrating. I hate to tell you, you know, it's a state policy. We have no latitude, or we've taken advantage of the latitude we do have. That seems to be where we are in a lot of situations. We will have a reauthorization coming. I've been on national calls this week and last. Reauthorization of WIOA is up for consideration, and there is great interest in childcare from all points, great interest in aggregating workforce. So we're not sure where this goes until there is an election, and whatever Congress we are handed in January, we really don't know what the future holds. So our funds are good through next September 30. We have all of the new year October 1 grants, and it's a wait and see until 2021. Anybody with questions for me? I know it's tight. Please don't hesitate to email me, call me. We have a lot of information, but it's hard to get it all into these meetings. And today, our priority was celebrating what everybody has contributed. The we is very obvious, and hopefully you benefited from that information. It's an amazing cast working for the Dallas Probe. So thank you, Ellen, and board. I don't think I have anything else.
Thank you, Lori. Are there any other comments?
Ellen, I just want to thank you again for all your leadership over the last 4 years, and look forward to your leadership the next 4.
Thank you, Bill. I appreciate that. Thank you.
Look forward to working with you.
And Ellen, I'd just like to point out how radiant you look and how those weights appear to have been relieved from your shoulders. Bill, your shoulders are dropping. So
I lost all my hair in about 2 hours.
Ellen, thank you for your,
this is a wig.
Thank you for your great leadership. And then also to Terry, who's been our treasurer. Big thanks to him for guiding us through the highest of the highs and the most challenging of the challenges. So thanks to the whole board leadership for their fine work.
Thank you. Thank you, Carter. Yes, thank you, Terry. And thank you for the officers who are going to be stepping in and taking this on, moving us forward. What a great opportunity for the work that we have before us to be a part of moving forward. And I guess I'm going to officially, virtually transition my gavel over to Bill. So thank you all so much. Wish you the best the rest of this year. And looking forward to seeing all of you in January in 2021.
Thank you, Ellen.
Thanks. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody. Stay safe.